Truckers X TV on air. We are now live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to another episode of Master Detective Archives Rain Code. In the previous episode, we completed the majority of the investigation of Chapter 4. Today's episode right now, we're going to get into the Mystery Labyrinth. If you have today's episode, make sure that like button is supposed to be the channel as we continue on with the story.
Again with the falling. Why can't it ever be a gentle landing? Oh, Vivia. This is called the Mystery Labyrinth.
So, this place is a physical manifestation of mysteries from the case?
You can tell? Oh, well, anyway, this actually isn't my forte. It's...
Due to the power of death. Her, right?
Huh?
So you really could see me this whole time?
He could?
It's due to my spiritual affinity. Ever since I was young, I've been able to see otherworldly things. My forte was gained through training that innate talent. Though, I wasn't able to see her clearly like this before. I could tell you were talking to some haze following you around, but that was it. Until one day, I used my spectral projection at the agency, and saw that death got clear as crystal. After that, I did some research. I discovered that the WDO Underground Book Vault held something called the Book of Death. And also, that someone had taken it.
Did I take it? Before I lost my memories?
I don't know. Since you're a rookie, I doubt you'd have access to the Book Vault. Only a handful of people have WDO clearance for that.
Just a handful?
Anyway, you've been using this ability to solve the other cases up till now, haven't you?
Yeah.
So, this is also related to the mysterious deaths of all those culprits? My guess is, clearing a labyrinth, a materialization of a mystery, causes its true perpetrator to die. If that's the case, you've killed a lot of people with your own hands, Yuma.
Well, I didn't really kill anyone. It's just what happens when...
Nope. I may be the one reaping their souls, but the blood is still on your hands.
What? Hey!
No point in pretending to be a goody two-shoes. You're risking your life to solve these mysteries.
I see. So you're determined to do this, huh? Sorry, but I don't think I have that kind of conviction myself. So, I think I'll take a nap here while you go and risk your life.
You can sleep if you want, but you won't be able to get out.
Is that so?
If you're not with Master when and if he solves the labyrinth, this place will collapse around you. Well, if you don't have any regrets in the real world, you're free to die here.
Regrets? I don't have any of those. But there are still some things I've left unfinished. Especially after you exposed the mystery of this case.
What do you mean by that?
I'll be perfectly clear. I'm just going to tag along. I'll leave the heavy lifting to you.
around you, just don't get in our way. Well, Master, let's do the usual.
Yeah, okay.
Master, are you ready to give your life for the truth?
I am.
Is that sword for cutting through mysteries? This place must be pretty dangerous.
Here you go, Master. Here's your solution key.
Is that key something like a clue for the case? Wow. Looks like you're ready to go.
Could you be more of a doubter? Whatever. I'm gonna ignore you. So let's go and unriddle this mystery labyrinth. Let's hunt down this culprit who preys on the truth.
We have to walk? This is unbearable.
Come on! You're bumming me out here.
I thought you were going to ignore him. Say, Vivia, do you remember anything about the case?
You mean Dr. Huesca's murder? Or are you talking about when Chief Yako was attacked?
Huh? You remember? Everyone else that came here lost their memories.
That's pretty rare. Must be because of his whole spiritual thing.
So the others lost their memories. That's why no one remembers this death god.
How rude of them! It's thanks to yours truly that those cases got solved.
That reminds me, I used my coalescence with Fubuki before Vivia. But Vivia is the only one who came into the mystery labyrinth.
I guess coalescence got overridden. Maybe it only takes the most recent ability. I don't know either.
You don't know? But coalescence is your power, Shinigami.
Relax, will ya? Minor detail.
You would have been better off with Fubuki. She would have been far more useful for this case.
It doesn't matter anyway. No one can use their forte here.
Oh. So now I really don't have to do anything. Thank goodness. What a relief.
Jeez! You ever think your lack of motivation could be contagious?
Hey, relax.
Ooh, there's that mystery!
Huh? I wish they wouldn't spring out of nowhere like that.
I thought this labyrinth would only require your wits. But it looks like it's going to take more than that, Yuma.
Well, he doesn't have a whole lot of wits, so he doesn't have a choice.
Huh? why didn't a problem appear?
Not only was there no problem, no choice appeared either. Master, maybe you don't even know which mystery to start with to solve this case.
Yeah, there's so many unknowns. I'm honestly feeling lost right now.
Come on! You gotta know where to start with this stuff, or you won't be able to solve a single thing. Let's decide that for now. What's the first mystery of this case?
The first mystery is... the fact that Dr. Weska was murdered in a completely locked room with no way in or out. The doctor was located deep in the critical lab, behind layers of security. And yet, he was found stabbed to death. We were the first to discover the body. At the time, we were controlling the robot, Amapel. Because of that, we were thought to be the culprits, but we obviously aren't. So how did the culprit get in and out of the doctor's lab? That's what I don't know.
But the culprit is definitely the hitman, right?
I think so, but I'm not absolutely sure. Besides, even if the hitman did it, there's the question of who hired him. But there's no doubt the hitman stabbed Chief Yako. That's the only thing I'm absolutely certain about.
Peacekeepers?
Kanai Ward's garbage. What are you doing here?
Yomi Hell's Smile.
So the director of the Peacekeepers is here.
Yeah, but he's just part of the Mystery Labyrinth.
I figured. In other words, he's a monster created from the Labyrinth, right?
Right.
You pieces of shit. You're disturbing the peace of Kanai Ward!
This guy doesn't seem like an easy opponent.
But we have no choice. For Chief Yako. For everyone.
You killed Dr. Weska, didn't you? Turn yourselves in so I can torture you to death!
Alright, let's get this going. Security, power supply, toxic gas properties, shoe, print. There's a shoe print? In the critical lab, there was a shoe print on Amapal's head. What does that even mean? The critical lab security system operates on a separate parts of that what manages the electrical room. The toxic gas is bacteria, so regular gas mask isn't effective. It takes about 30 minutes after exposure for the toxin to spread and turn as it's turned.
The ones who killed Dr. Weska. You disarmed the security system to the doctor's lab.
I don't know about that. Get over here. Get over here.
And then murdered him inside. Until you actually entered the lab. The security system for the critical lab stayed active.
Right here. Right here. Right here.
Dim.
Nope. Never mind.
The ones who killed Dr. Weska. You disarmed the security system to the doctor's lab.
No. Get over here.
And then murdered him inside. Until you actually entered the lab. The security system for the critical lab stayed active.
Next.
It's impossible to bypass the system while it's active.
Was it this one?
In other words, no one can enter the doctor's lab. There couldn't be an intruder.
How did I hit you?
The culprit.
I think it was the second one. After the one I used.
Weska. You disarmed the security system to the...
What about that? We're talking about the security
doctor's
system.
lab.
Come on, come on, come on.
And then murdered him inside. Until you actually entered the lab, the security system for the critical lab stayed active.
Next, next,
It's
next.
impossible to bypass the system while it's active. In other words,
How?
no one can enter
How?
the doctor's lab. There couldn't be an intruder,
Get up.
which makes you the culprit.
We're just talking about those power supplies. That's the argument here.
Dr. Weska,
Actually,
you disarmed the security system to the doctor's lab.
oh, maybe it was this one right there.
Until you actually entered the lab, the security system for the critical lab stayed active. It's impossible to bypass the system while it's active.
Fall asleep.
Yeah, it's the second one. It's that one. He's claiming that we're the one.
Weska, you disarmed the security system to the doctor's lab.
Oh? Not this one?
You're the one. Ones who killed Dr. Weska.
What am I looking at here? It's not this.
You disarmed the security system to the doctor's lab.
It's not that.
And then murdered him inside.
Not that.
Until you actually entered the lab.
Until I enter the
Security
lab.
system for the critical lab stayed active.
Not this.
It's impossible to bypass the system while it's active.
Not this.
In other words, no one can enter the doctor's lab. There couldn't be an intruder.
There couldn't be an intruder. Nah, it can't be. There couldn't be an intruder.
This is the truth. When the body was first discovered, Amapal was about to enter the doctor's lab. But something bumped into it and knocked it over. In fact, there was a mark on Amapal's head, like someone kicked it. That mark wasn't there when we borrowed it. It's proof that someone else was in the lab.
You call that evidence? Is bullshit the only thing that comes out of that mouth?
Rebuttal?
Don't make me laugh. Shit! There was an intruder?
I don't need
That's
that.
impossible! And in fact,
In fact,
you proved that yourself!
That
Repel.
claim doesn't hold up.
what are we getting at?
What do you mean? We proved there wasn't an intruder.
You still don't understand? Don't make me laugh!
What are solution keys? Lab math, airlock, panel chamber.
If there was another...
The floor plan, it was supposed to be top secret, but it was found hidden behind blah blah. Maybe. They first had to go through here. Lastly, they had to go through there.
Intruder?
Get up.
Then where did they go? By the time you arrived at the scene, there was no one else, right? There's no place to hide in the critical lab. There's no way they got past you.
The lid is barred by a hinge to make it easy to open and close.
Or are you saying they slipped away and you missed it?
Nope.
Say,
If there was another intruder, then where did they go?
I just need to see what the lab out looked like again, because that's just not giving me enough space, to be honest.
By the time you arrived at the scene, there was no one else, right? There's no place to hide in the critical lab. There's no way they got past it. Or
Ouch.
are you saying they slipped away and you missed it? That's obviously impossible. Isn't that funny? You just proved you committed the crime.
No? Or are we back to the original idea?
If there was another intruder, then where did they go? By the time you arrived at the scene, there was no one else, right?
there's no place to hide in the critical lab.
There's no way they got past it.
Up.
Or are you
Flash.
saying they slipped away and you missed it?
Dodge that.
That's obviously impossible.
Dodge.
Isn't that funny? You just proved you committed the crime.
Next. What? So with the last part? That's my next guess. Ouch.
By the time you arrived at the scene,
There was no one else, right?
there's no place
To
to
hide in the critical lab. There's no way they got past it.
Next.
Or are you saying they slipped away and you missed it?
It's not this one.
That's obviously impossible. Isn't that funny? You just proved you committed the crime.
Am I looking at this or am I looking at the one last to it?
If there was another intruder, then where did they go? By the time you arrived at the scene, there was no one else, right?
Ouch.
There's no
Place to hide in the critical lab.
There's no way they got past it. Or are you saying they slipped away and you missed it?
'Cause my
That's obvious.
my deduction is this part right here. The bar is able to open both ways. Oh, that's right. But my question is the floor plan. So I can legit see it.
Impossible.
Ouch.
Isn't that funny? You just proved you committed the crime.
Oh my god.
If there was another intruder, then where did they go?
By the time you arrived at the scene, there was no one else, right? There's no place to hide in the critical lab. There's no way they got past it. Or are you saying they slipped away and you missed it? That's obviously impossible. Isn't that funny? You just proved you committed the crime. If there was another intruder, then where did they go? By the time you arrived at the scene, There was no one else, right?
If there was another intruder, then where did they go? By the time you arrived at the scene, there was no one else, right?
There's no place to hide in the critical lab.
I'll slash through this mystery. There's a hiding spot. It's inside the airlock's decontamination device. The vents cover can be easily removed, and there's just enough space for someone to fit inside. If they hid inside the decontamination device, we wouldn't have seen them when we arrived at the scene.
So what? You've got it all wrong anyway. Everything is wrong. Your existence is all wrong. Have fun chasing that fake truth you found.
I had the right idea, but just the wording didn't make sense.
We managed to defeat him this time, but it's not over yet.
He sure is persistent, huh?
Anyway, there's no doubt someone else was inside the doctor's lab. So let's unravel each mystery one at a time.
All right, we'll get it this time.
Come on, why does it have to be so sudden?
Okay, now that we've wedged our way into this mystery, we just gotta head through the labyrinth and reach the truth!
Right here!
We're just now getting to the point? What a pain.
Hey, don't sigh, this is a good thing!
Sorry.
Anyway, let's head inside.
There was an intruder for sure! We know someone bumped into Amapal.
The culprit probably hit Amapel on their way out. After that, they must have intended to leave the lab. But they couldn't because we were in the front chamber. So they hid inside the decontamination device to avoid us.
So, if you checked inside the decontamination device on the way to the scene, you would have caught the culprit then and there.
Yeah, but it was an emergency and we had no idea they were in there.
It's super lame to make up excuses, Master!
It's not an excuse. But it is true. If I had thought about why Amapal was knocked over at that time, I would have realized the culprit was in there. We could have waited in ambush or searched for them. And if I'd caught the culprit then, Chief Yako wouldn't have gotten stabbed.
Master, wallowing in regret is even lamer. If you have time for that, you have time to keep going.
Right.
Really? Another fork in the path.
Seems like we're finally at the central question. This is the first step to solving how the culprit committed an impossible murder.
I leave the rest to you. I'm going to read a book or something.
You can bring your own stuff into the Mystery Labyrinth?
He's just special.
If he was invited by the doctor, he would have known. Deactivated security by cutting the power. There was a blackout during a short amount of time, but it didn't do nothing. Never entered in the first place. That would be impossible because no one has walked in or out. So the only logical option would be deactivated security by cutting power.
Right here!
The culprit used the blackout to slip past security and into the lab. That answer is pretty simple. Almost too simple.
Huh? A trap?
Guess you were wrong, Yuma. Well, I already knew that before you entered.
What? Why didn't you tell me?
You wanted me to tell you? I should have said so earlier. People only grow by learning from past mistakes, which is why I purposely...
Master, we have to get out of here!
How do we get out?
Use logic to show how this route is the wrong one!
All right, I'll try.
Why is deactivated security not correct? The security log, the security power supply. No? Damn. So overall I had the wrong the entire time? That's just crazy.
The doctor said the critical lab was on a separate grid, and the lab switchboard wasn't in the electrical room. The security wouldn't shut off, even if there was a blackout in the building.
But what was the purpose of the blackout? How did he get in is the question. Oh my gosh. If it's the last one, I'd be mad because if he, at the same time, he didn't know who that guy was. And the logs don't even show anything else.
Culprit never entered? But you said there's no doubt the culprit was in there.
Perhaps the intruder is not the culprit after all.
So you're saying that the doctor committed suicide? If the doctor committed suicide, then the culprit wasn't the intruder, but the doctor himself.
But if the doctor did it, there would be no intruder. The doctor was already in the lab.
Same thing, say less. My question is, why was that an option? Why was he invited? Because when he encountered the killer, he's like, who are you? But he was all by himself, so that don't make sense.
Right here!
doctor invited the culprit in? But why?
Things are so muddled now because we're assuming the culprit forced their way inside. If the culprit was invited to the lab, then he easily would have been able to enter.
Ah, so you think the doctor disabled the security? He wouldn't need it if he was expecting a guest.
Huh? What? This was the last route!
This labyrinth is a tricky one. It's like one of those old detective novels. Perhaps you're the real culprit, Yuma.
Really, Master?
Of course not! Focus! We need to get out of here! The log on the doctor's computer didn't show any signs of security getting shut down. If that's the case, he certainly didn't cut security just to let someone in. Hey, there's another door!
I get it! Since we proved that every possibility was wrong, a new one has appeared!
Interesting. The Mystery Labyrinth not only materializes the case, but also changes based on your investigation.
Right. Something felt off about those other routes. It's almost like we were forced to choose the wrong way.
But by eliminating each wrong answer one by one, you opened the path to the right answer.
You sound disappointed.
Who cares? Let's just see what's in the final route!
They use spectral projection to enter and kill him?
Then, the culprit is... I can't believe the culprit entered the labyrinth with us. That's never happened before. How dare you trick me! There is no escape! Once the mystery labyrinth is solved, the culprit will be judged! Master, let's finish up this mystery labyrinth and both kill this dude!
What? Hold on!
Huh? Another trap?
That's why I said to wait! There's no way Vivia's the culprit!
Then, prove it and beat this thing! I won't be convinced until you do!
To begin with, nothing can be touched while in ghost form. He couldn't have held the murder weapon, the knife. So it's not possible that he stabbed the doctor. Now do you trust Vivia?
Master, I've said this 1,000 times, but a detective must suspect everything. Besides, it's his fault for being so sketchy. The way he looks, how he talks, everything is super suspicious.
Sorry. I do try to stay out of sight.
Anyway, let's go back. Everything's changed.
There aren't any new doors. What? There's nowhere to go? What was the point of eliminating all the other paths?
Come on.
Don't start with that again. How about you help us for a change? You better cooperate, unless you want to get chopped up by Master Solution Blade.
Hold on, Shinigami.
I don't want to get chopped up. I dislike pain immensely. But you know, the journey up to now wasn't a waste. We did eliminate many possibilities.
But that means nothing if we can't reach the truth.
Nothing? Why do you want the truth in the first place?
Huh?
It's easy to say you want the truth. But are you sure you can handle it? No matter how cruel that truth may be.
Can I handle it?
I'm still not sure if you're the kind of person who can. I bet you're not sure either. That's why you're still so hesitant. This mystery labyrinth also reflects your reluctance. Maybe that's why you can't reach the truth.
What are you talking about? I've said it before and I'll say it again. I won't hesitate to expose the truth.
So you still haven't realized it? Guess you're not quite there yet. Well, that's fine for now. But eventually, you'll be forced to make a choice. When that happens, you'll have to prove your conviction and expose the truth, like you said.
Enough nonsense. Let's find some clues.
As an apology for the distraction, let me tell you something. This labyrinth appears to change shape by reflecting our investigation. So, instead of following the revealed path, isn't it possible to carve your own path?
Carve my own path? That's right, Shinigami! We can create new routes with our own deductions. Maybe we can do it here.
Sometimes, just a slight change in perspective is enough to completely change how you see things.
So if I change my perspective here, I might see something new. I see. I was so focused on how to overcome the security system. But that's not right. I need to change my perspective and think about who could have overcome it.
Don't box yourself in with your own assumptions.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
I hate when the anemic vampire tells us what to do. But if Master wants to... then fine. I'll lend you my power. Lay it all out, Master!
Alright, what we got? What we got? Puzzle time.
Let's work together!
Who is
as a
capable of
team.
overcoming the security system? What was his name again? D.U. I don't remember his name. Eat it. A robot is immune to toxin, right? Dude, I just don't remember his name. That's all it is. Oh, what up?
Go, go, go!
I'm a pal. We're thinking of who. Well, what if it's an it? Because we're thinking of a person.
A new route appeared.
This is all thanks to me!
Perhaps I said too much. Well, nothing has been solved yet.
I wish you'd express yourself a little better. How can we tell if you're happy or sad?
I've never been happy or sad in my entire life. I want to die someday.
This guy's hopeless!
Anyway, let's explore this new route.